and Ray Thornton, all these different pieces, right? So I think that kind of leads me to my guy Jatavian Sanders and the interesting discourse that is happening right now all over social media, and I'm sure all over message boards about, hey, is this an opportunity for him to come in and get some snaps? Or do we play him on offense and try to make him Kyle Pitts? Like, what are y'all's thoughts there?
Jeremy, I'll let you go first. This is your baby.
I think you got a Dallas Texas showdown. I think you got Prince Dorba versus Jatavian Sanders in the summer with Ben Davis being out to see who fills that role. Like you, I've been a Jatavian Sanders to defense my whole time we've been doing this podcast, only because I watched a ton of film as him, and it's hard when you see him make those one-handed catches in the corner of the end zone against diminutive defensive backs. His talent is insurmountable, but I think he would make the biggest impact currently, and I felt like long-term on the defensive side of football. But I think Prince Dorba has a lot to be desired too. Like, he's a high 4-star, high 5-star at Highland Park who we saw a lot of in the spring game. So we'll see. But I think it's those two guys are going to be fine for snaps in the fall, and I think they'll be fine for – because 6 to 8 weeks sends us to right at the start of the season, or maybe right after the first or second non-conference game. So I don't think Ben Davis is going to miss any conference football. I'd have to check the calendar and scroll down the weeks.
I feel terrible. I feel terrible for him, by the way, because he's been in college since 2016, I think. And you're coming here, fresh start. You're a 5-star, number 1 inside linebacker, I believe. At least according to this when he came out. That's a really, really, no pun intended, that's a tough break for Ben Davis. So wishing him a speedy recovery and being able to pick up, because there's so many people that are going to be in the room where they're trying to figure out who are these guys. You guys are talking about Prince Dorba, who's a forgotten name. I didn't even mention him, in the names I threw out there, but he showed up in the spring game, and he's a guy I liked when he came out of Highland Park, and his makeup and his development that I think he could push a Ray Thornton, to be honest with you. I think he has natural pass rushing gifts. The thing is experience. So, I mean, and can he play the run consistently? But I also think PK could put him in a position where he may not get exploited like that. So it's going to be really, really interesting. Clint, I want to get your take on the Jatavian Sanders.
Yeah, so Jatavian. So when you're talking about Jatavian Sanders, you're talking about, to me, it's more it's the timeliness of when he plays versus where does he play and so on and so forth. I think, to me, I think he's gonna go into that tight end room. But I think the biggest piece is if you need a pass rush in the second quarter, third and long, you're going to see Jatavian Sanders enter the field. I think that's the way it's going to work. I think I don't see him coming in day one. Really, he didn't come in during the spring. You're talking about this doing summer, going straight into fall, because he wasn't here as an early enrollee. What does he know? How fast does he learn it? And so on and so forth. Is the talent there? Absolutely the talent there. But does he learn the defense? So I think a lot of it comes down to timeliness of when he plays. To me, put people in positions to succeed. And that, to me, that's Jatavian Sanders, a one-hand catch guy down towards the red zone, and he's a guy when it's third and long, you bring him in here in specific opportunities to rush the passer. That's where I see him at least the first couple of weeks, man. Maybe further when it gets down the road, but yeah.
My only thoughts are the tight end room is so, I feel like it's very, very deep. Watching Juan Davis come to campus and play real well, watching Gunnar Helm come to campus and play real well. You got Kay Brewer, who's coming back for his senior season. You got Jared Wiley. I just don't know that the bang is for the buck, and I don't think he can beat Deshaun Jameson. When Deshaun Jameson came to campus, he was a defensive back, but we were full in the defensive back room when we moved him to slot receiver. I don't know that you could do that with Jatavian Sanders. Does he have the skill set? Absolutely. But I don't think you can hide him away in the tight end room Monday through Friday and expect him to go out and pass rushing plays on Saturday and be able to make plays. Just because again, you're going to have to be in concert with your 3 technique or your 1 technique. And I think with PK's system, it's a lot more complex than just run on the outside of your defensive end and take up 2 gaps when you're a defensive tackle or a 3 technique. So I just don't know if you could stow away in the tight end room Monday through Friday and then ask him to come out and play pass rush on Saturday.
I want to piggyback on that point. At some point, he's going to have to make a decision. Hopefully in combination with the staff, but playing both ways, if you're a corner to receiver, body comp wise, you're not really going to change too much depending on, what you're being asked to do as a DB. But Your goal is to be fast, be agile, those type of things. Because of the type of tight end, and I hesitate to even call him a tight end. I look at it like a pass catcher. He's one of my pass catchers. So, but if I want him to say both ways, and I'm asking him to be a pass catcher, but I also want him to rush the edge. But eventually, he's got to bulk up. Like, I don't know what his weight is right now, if he's like 225, 230, whatever he is. But eventually, like, if I'm looking at what his NFL body's going to be, or his long-term body composition is going to be, if he's going to be a defensive end or a linebacker or outside linebacker, he's going to be a big boy. And he's not going to be able to high point. He's a special athlete. That's why he's a 5-star. But the way he was able to, you see him high pointing the football deep downfield and contorting his body and making one-handed catches, the dexterity, the athleticism, it's incredible. But even a guy like a Kyle Pitts, I think the highest he got in weight was like 240 or 245. Like the body, his body, he's a slimmer guy because he's got to be able, you look at Jatavian Sanders, even at Denton Ryan, he was catching balls. I saw him catching shallow crosses and running after the catch as well. So what type of football player do you even want to be? Because you being one of an elite pass catcher like that and being an edge rusher, I don't see those two things gelling long term. I think you can get away with it at the beginning, but eventually they're going to have to come to a road where they make a decision.
It's a good problem to have a 5-star player. You can't figure out where you want to put him at. Very good. That's a very good issue, man.
We're both Cowboy fans, and DeMarcus Lawrence, I want to say, is not running around 235. Like you said, Steven, there's got to be 35 pounds of muscle put on that frame in the next 4 years. And I think Torrey Beckton with this versatile, strength and conditioning program could definitely do that. But like you said, the decision's got to be made sooner than later where he's going to go so he can continue to develop and be that first-day draft pick that you're looking for in this program and for the kid himself.
Expectations as well, guys. To finish the Jatavian Sanders point, as long as he's in communication with his position coaches and ultimately Steve Sarkisian, and it aligns with what he was told across his recruitment, not even because his recruitment spans into Tom Herman as well, but he's like, hey, I stood solid. He stood solid for a reason. They've told him something. They've told him they're going to give him a piece of something. You don't just stay solid during a coaching change when you're that low of a recruit without there being some sort of assurance that you're going to get what you want to get out of your experience there. So as long as the communication is fair, but they also say, look, what's best for the team, we have injuries right here. We're short at this position. We need to get your ass on the field. You need to come over here to this room. Like, it is what it is, bro. And we know you can be our best guy. Then I think that will be understood across the board.